Hey everybody, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to tell you my official standings predictions for the upcoming season, as well as my pick for the Stanley Cup. Now, I have an official pick for the Stanley Cup, but I'm also going to pick kind of two from each conference as well as two sleeper picks on each side. So one official pick and then two from each conference, which I guess that one is from one, and then two sleeper picks. So couple of predictions here, but generally that main one is my strong point here. But we're gonna go through every single division and predict the full standings. And I will say that I don't do this thinking I'm going to be right. Those who have watched me in the past or follow me know that 90% of the time my predictions are wrong. The same as 90% of the predictions that most people do are wrong, because it's so hard to predict. The NHL is easy to predict in certain ways, but extremely difficult to predict in some ways as well. And then teams that just have changed so much, and then the COVID, we haven't really had a full season recently, so it's hard to feel good about your predictions. And I guess I never feel good about my predictions, but this year specifically, I think I say that every year, but whatever. Let's start off with the Atlantic, okay? I have Tampa Bay coming first. I'm just going to start at the top. I've got Tampa Bay coming first, and I know that they changed drastically, not drastically, that they've changed quite a bit since they've won that second Stanley Cup, and they're not as good as a team as they were last year or the previous year, but they're still a really good team, and I kind of do see them at the top of this division. Second is the Toronto Maple Leafs. I just have them near the top as well. I don't know if they're going to get by the first round. It seems to be their downfall every year, their Achilles heel. But I do believe that they're going to have a strong season at least, and definitely make the playoffs. In third position, I have the Florida Panthers, and they're such a strange team. Like, think about I'll say this. Florida is not my pick to win the Stanley Cup, but I want them to be. Like, a part of me desperately wanted to pick them because I think they're an amazing team. But I look at the team and I think, okay, this team has not won a playoff series in 21 years. In order for them to win the Stanley Cup, they would have to win more series this year in the playoffs than they've played in general in the last 21 years. They've only played 3 playoff series in the last 21 years. They've lost them all. So in order to win the Stanley Cup, they'd have to win more playoff series this year than they've played in general in the last 21. Like, it's not possible, but it just seems silly for them to do. So I really want to pick them to be this, my Stanley Cup champions, but I just can't. I just can't. However, they are my sleeper pick for the Eastern Conference. So there's my first special pick here. In fourth position, I've got Boston. I see them as a team that generally is about the same as last year. They could probably contend for first in the conference, or first in the division if they really wanted to, or they could maybe come third or fourth. Goaltending's the question mark for me. Rask is potentially coming back around January. He's their bright point. So I don't know how I feel about Boston as far as this team is 100% a number one team. I don't feel the confidence behind them that much. So a couple of question marks for me. So I kind of slotted them in fourth. In fifth, this may surprise a couple of people, but I have the Ottawa Senators coming in fifth. I just see them as a bit of they're not my sleeper pick, but I'm going to use that word anyway. I see them kind of as a sleeper team. A lot of youth, a lot of progression in the last year. They have really nothing to lose. They're still in a team in transition, a growth team. So I think they don't have anything to prove to anyone, or even the ownership or the fans, really. The fans understand, and I kind of like how the team is coming together and stuff. So I think that might actually surprise some people and try and contend for that fourth and final spot in the division. But we'll see. I've got Ottawa in fifth. In sixth, I've got Montreal, which is my favorite team. Objectively, I think Montreal is not as good or about the same as last year, and last year was kind of a fairy tale year for them. So I see them likely not making the playoffs, which is unfortunate. Like I said, they're my favorite team, but objectively, I just don't see this as a real strong playoff team. Detroit, I have next in seventh. Again, a team kind of like Ottawa, going through this transitional period. They're dealing with some injuries right now, so I don't suspect that they'll have a strong start to the season. Maybe I'll be wrong. They did have a decent stretch actually near the end of last season, but I don't see them blowing anyone's minds this year, so I've got them in seventh. And eighth, which is maybe the easiest pick in the entire NHL, is the Buffalo Sabres. I've got them last. I don't see how they cannot come last. If they came in seventh, I would be genuinely surprised. Transitioning to the Metro, I have the Islanders in first place in the division. I picked them last year, I think, to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals and then eventually lose to the Vegas Golden Knights. But I see them getting all the way. They're my pick this year, guys. They're my pick for the Stanley Cup winners. I'm picking the Islanders as my winner. Number 2 in the Metro Division, I've got the Carolina Hurricanes. The team hasn't changed that much. In fact, I think they've gotten a little bit better. Maybe not in net, but up front, I think they have. So I have them having another strong season coming in second. Pittsburgh, I've got them in third. Lots of question marks for me around Pittsburgh, but they're always a team that, regardless of who goes or who comes and who's injured or who's not, they're always kind of a strong team. So I suspect them to be hovering around maybe the middle point of this division. In fourth, bit of a shocker, I've got the Rangers in here. Now this may shock a couple of people because if you've done the math or if you've been following along, I've left off some pretty good teams here to potentially not make the playoffs. But I've got the Rangers actually making the playoffs this year. I like what's going on with the Rangers, and I feel good about them. In fifth position, I've got the Capitals, so just outside the fourth position in the division. I actually think the Capitals may miss the playoffs this year. I think Ovi's going to be too focused on his goals and trying to break that record, and I just don't see the team as good as last year, and definitely not as good as the year before. In sixth position, I have the Flyers. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't even try with the Flyers anymore. I'm always wrong when I predict them. They're so inconsistent. I really don't even care about my prediction with the Flyers because I just know that I'm going to be wrong. And seventh, I've got the Blue Jackets. They did some pretty good things in the offseason, but also maybe some questionable things. So I'm curious. I don't think my prediction's very strong here, but I'm really just looking forward to seeing what happens with the team this year. Regardless if they do worse or better, I don't really care. I want to see a full year from this Columbus team. And in eighth, I have the Devils. I think they are a better team than last year, but I still think they've got some question marks for sure. Moving on to the Western Conference, let's do the Pacific first. I've got Vegas coming in first. It's a fairly weak division compared to, I'm thinking back to the Pacific Division, 5-6 years ago. Oh my God, you got Anaheim rolling, you got San Jose rolling, you got LA was still kind of good at that point as well, and then Edmonton was just getting good, and Calgary was decent. That was a really, really difficult division to play in, and now it's there's not really a lot going on. There's Vegas, and then there's just maybe one or two other teams after that who show some promise. In second position, I've got Edmonton. I actually predicted Edmonton would not make the playoffs last year, just on the outside of the bubble. I said best case scenario inside the bubble and making it, but not really doing anything. Luckily, for my prediction's sake, that's exactly what happened. Edmonton lacks depth. People ripped me in the comments last year. I'm going to continue to say it because it's true. So I don't know if you want to rip me again. That's probably cool, but I'm predicting them to come second in the division. So I don't know. Let's just call it a day. Third, this may surprise some people because I've been pretty critical of them lately, but I have Calgary actually coming in third. I think there's going to be drama around Gaudreau. I think there's going to be trade rumors all damn year, which is really frustrating. But I also think that they could surprise some people. I just have this weird feeling about Calgary this year. They might actually do something here. So I have them in third. And fourth, this is my sleeper pick for the Western Conference. I've got the LA Kings. I think, looking at them last year, watching the steps that they took forward last year, seeing some of the things that they've done in the offseason this year, I really see them as kind of being a sleeper pick. I said that at the late point of last year, talking about teams going into this coming season. I mentioned it, and I really feel the same way. I think LA could really surprise a lot of people this year. In fifth position, I have the Kraken, so I actually have them missing the playoffs. I chose to award them in this video. I would love to see them kind of repeat what Vegas did, but I think realistically, I do see them missing the playoffs. Put them in fifth. And sixth, I have the Canucks. I still don't know what to think about the Canucks because I actually predicted them last year to come first in the Atlantic Division, and they disappointed me so much. They had an abysmal season. It was terrible. So I don't really know what to think about the Canucks right now. In seventh, I have Anaheim, and in eighth, I have San Jose. So I'm just going to loop these in together. Anaheim is generally the same. I think they've got some okay depth, but I just still a lot of question marks there. San Jose, Carlson is the most irresponsible defenseman, I think, in the entire NHL, and I think he puts them in situations where they suffer more than he puts them in situations where they gain. And I just think it's an ongoing issue with them, and he hurts their cap so much. And it sucks because San Jose is my second favorite team, and I objectively am putting them last, which is unfortunate. Moving on to the Central, my pick for the first in the Central is Winnipeg, actually. I am feeling good about Winnipeg this year. I like what's going on there. I love their depth. In second place, I've got Colorado. So I actually see Colorado being less of a team this year than last year. I have some questions in net. Third, I've got Minnesota. I think they can still keep the momentum from last year, keep on going with Kaprizov and see what happens. So hoping they make the playoffs again and maybe around third in the division. And fourth, my sleeper pick, Chicago. I've got Chicago making the playoffs this year. I think Fleury's going to do some magic in the regular season. Not saying they're going to win a cup or go deep in the playoffs, but I've got them making the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in Chicago. And fifth, I've got St. Louis. So you know what? I probably may regret this pick, actually, putting St. Louis in fifth and missing the playoffs. I guess it depends what happens with the wild card, but I generally see the Blues missing the playoffs. I think out of any of the predictions that I have on here, this is maybe the one I regret the most. Yeah, St. Louis could potentially come first in the division. They're kind of one of those teams that could just turn it on and kind of do it. So I'll likely be wrong about this one, but I've got them in fifth for now. And sixth, I've got Nashville. I kind of see them being the same team. I know they've changed a lot, but I kind of just see them kind of being a bubble team. You know, maybe they'll make it. They did last year, but I have them in sixth for now. And seventh, I've got Dallas. I think they need a lot of systematic work. I still don't think they're as strong offensively as they could be, and that not necessarily due to their skill, but due to their system. So I think they're kind of their own worst enemy in a way, if I can say. And I really like Dallas, so it's unfortunate, but I've got them in seventh. And then last in the Central, I've got Arizona. There's just so much going on in Arizona. I mean, Kessel's on his final year. He's going to be trying for a contract. He's really going to be pushing and trying to show himself. But they also have the drama in Arizona as well. The arena, the city, the ownership, the management. It's just everything going on with Arizona. They're a worse team this year than I think they were last year, and they were an average team last year. So I really do see them coming lower in the division. So basically, my picks are Islanders for the Stanley Cup. My favorite potential Stanley Cup winner from the West would be Winnipeg, but my main one is the Islanders. Sleeper pick in the West is going to be the LA Kings, and sleeper pick in the East is going to be Florida, but the Rangers are kind of sleeping in there as well. So that is my prediction, guys. Would love to hear your prediction down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are excited for the season, because I definitely am. I'm going to be doing some live streams coming up in this season. I'm not exactly sure what dates or what day of the week or anything like that, but we're going to be watching some games together. I just have to kind of plan and make sure I have time, so keep an eye out for that announcement. Have a great day. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.